The Scottish Government has published a draft version of Scotland's fourth National Planning Framework, Scotland 2045. The places where we live and work are really important. Our planning system manages the development and use of land in the long-term public interest. NPF4 is a bold and ambitious strategy for our future places, and the draft document proposes some significant changes. It sets out a vision for Scotland in 2045 and a long-term spatial strategy for our country. It also sets out a revised suite of national planning policies. These will replace the current Scottish planning policy that was published in 2014 once they're adopted. As a result of the Planning Scotland Act 2019, NPF4 will be part of the Statutory Development Plan. This means it carries greater weight in decision making and will play an important role in informing local development plans. Although extensive work has already gone into NPF4, we're still at an early stage and very much open to comments on the draft. The final version will be underpinned by a clear delivery programme. The first part of Scotland 2045 brings together the document as a whole and sets out a national spatial strategy, as broadly illustrated here. Throughout the process, we've focused our work on achieving 4 key themes which run right across the document as a whole. Sustainable places. These are net zero, nature positive places which are more adaptable and resilient to future climate change. Livable places. We want to take a people-centred approach which sets out how our homes and our neighbourhoods can be healthier and more vibrant places to live. Productive places. We want to support a well-being economy and ensure we can facilitate future investment in Scotland. And distinctive places. We want each place to play to its strengths, recognising the distinctive agendas for urban and rural development and the importance of protecting the natural and built environment. We're also targeting investment in areas that need improvement, such as vacant and derelict land. The spatial strategy also includes 6 spatial principles. The collaborative work and early engagement has informed this approach. Compact growth. We need to limit use of undeveloped land to ensure it can provide the ecosystem services we'll need to mitigate and adapt to climate change. Local living. NPF4 brings forward a new, more organic and finer-grained approach to development, which will reduce the need to travel and create better places for people. Balanced development. Our strategy recognises that there's pressure for development in some parts of Scotland and less interest in other areas. We want to ensure that planning manages development where there's demand, but goes beyond this to take a public sector-led approach to creating better places and shaping markets. Conserving and recycling assets. Fundamentally, our strategy recognises the importance of making best use of existing land and buildings and of minimising waste. Urban and rural synergies will be important too. Our strategy recognises the needs and synergies between urban and rural Scotland. It aims to reverse past population decline in rural Scotland and achieve a more balanced approach overall. And a just transition. We're committed to ensuring the approach is fair and does not exacerbate or create inequalities as we transition to net zero. These principles inform our approach to the strategy as a whole and are embedded across our national planning policies. Rather than a top-down or one-size-fits-all spatial strategy, we've applied these shared outcomes and principles in each part of Scotland. As this map shows, different parts of Scotland have different challenges and opportunities, and our strategy reflects this. The 2019 Act introduced new duties for local authorities to prepare regional spatial strategies on their own or working with others. We've worked with authorities over the last year to explore these new duties with them. We shared experience and ideas, and each grouping of authorities came up with their own indicative spatial strategy. NPF4 brings this work together and sets out how we think our coast and islands, rural north and south, north east and central belt can transition to net zero. These are action areas in the document. A more detailed map is provided for each of the action areas. Each area has a clear agenda for change. In the northwest coast and islands, the emphasis is on innovation. We want to create thriving, low-carbon rural and coastal communities who benefit from the opportunities arising from renewable energy investment and the blue economy. The strategy conserves the special characteristics of these areas and supports their virtual and physical connectivity. In the north of Scotland, the focus is also on revitalising communities. A positive and enabling approach is taken to support development that sustains more homes for local people and businesses. The focus is on the green economy, and we aim to protect and unlock the potential of the area's natural capital, such as peatland and woodland, to lock in carbon. In the northeast, the strategy supports the transition from high carbon to low carbon. This is a focused part of the strategy which aims to build on the expertise in the area to support new technologies which we'll need for our journey to net zero. The strategy also supports regeneration of coastal communities and the creation of less car-dependent communities. In the Central Belt, the focus is on transforming the most urban parts of Scotland. We've brought together areas from Ayrshire through to the Tay Cities region, including Glasgow and Edinburgh, to set out shared priorities. There is an emphasis on rolling out 20-minute neighbourhoods at scale, urban greening and regenerating previously industrialised urban coasts in a way which recognises future vulnerability to climate change. And finally, the south of Scotland is a more rural area which shares many of the aims of the north and also recognises the importance of the area for strategic connections and access to markets. Here, the emphasis is again on smaller scale and more dispersed rural development, which will need to be planned carefully and innovatively to ensure it's consistent with our overall focus on net zero. The second part focuses on national developments. As well as these action areas, our strategy is supported by 18 proposed national developments. Designation as a national development establishes the need for a project. This map shows the proposed national developments, although it should be noted that not all can be mapped. Some will be location specific, but others apply across Scotland as a whole. To identify national developments, we assessed proposals that were submitted to us against the 4 key outcomes of climate, people, work and place. We also considered which of the proposals would best support delivery of the broader spatial strategy. It's important to note that national development status does not mean projects automatically get consent. Applications and fuller assessments are required. This slide shows the changes from National Planning Framework 3 to National Planning Framework 4. Around 10 of the national developments are existing and have been brought forward from NPF 3. They've been updated and in some cases expanded in NPF 4. 4 existing national developments from NPF 3 have not been carried forward because the spatial strategy priorities have changed. And 8 new national developments have been added, which we believe best reflect our new national development priorities and in particular will help us to mitigate and adapt to climate change. The third part of NPF 4 sets out our updated national planning policies. These are arranged to support the 4 overarching themes of the spatial strategy. Some policies are entirely new and arise from new priorities, such as the climate emergency and community wealth building. Others have had only minor changes applied to them. Others have changed quite considerably, and many have been significantly expanded. All have been rewritten to reflect the new role of NPF 4 as part of the Statutory Development Plan. This slide summarises some, but not all of the key policy changes. The policy intention overall is to limit new development which impacts on climate or on nature. The policies aim to reduce land take and out-of-town development and to take a plan-led approach to housing. We're aiming to reduce car dependence, to limit peat and fossil fuel extraction. And we also want to see less waste of disused land and buildings. On the other hand, we do want to see more localism with a finer-grained mix of uses so that people can easily access the facilities they need on a daily basis. We want to support town centre development, including town centre living. We've refocused policies on providing quality homes and are encouraging an approach which recognises diverse needs. We want to see more blue and green infrastructure, nature restoration and play. We want to see more flexibility for business and for future work, and to support the expansion of renewable energy and circular economy facilities. NPF4 aims to encourage development that's better linked to public transport and active travel, and we're encouraging the reuse of vacant and derelict land and actively supporting rural development. All of these policies, when they're adopted, can be applied directly to decisions on individual planning applications, as NPF4 will be part of the statutory development plan. Decisions must be made in accordance with the development plan unless material considerations indicate otherwise. This will mean that local development plans don't need to repeat all of these policies, and this will help to streamline the planning system as a whole. However, where there's evidence that local development plans should take a more tailored approach, they will still be able to bring forward local planning policies. We've been developing the Draft National Planning Framework 4 for around 2 years, and we've worked closely with a wide range of stakeholders to develop the strategy and the policies. This slide explains more about the various work streams that have gone into preparing the draft NPF4. We've taken on board advice and views of experts, including think pieces that we commissioned, and the work of the Infrastructure Commission for Scotland and the Advisory Group on Economic Recovery and the UK Climate Change Committee. We've built on the monitoring of National Planning Framework 3, and we've undertaken research on how the Scottish planning policy has been applied, as well as detailed analysis for each of the policy areas. The work has been collaborative and inclusive, with 2 rounds of early engagement informing the draft. We issued a call for national developments, and a report sets out our analysis of proposals. Last year we published a position statement setting out the direction of travel, and we invited views on it. NPF4 is supported by several impact assessments covering environmental, social and economic effects, and we've brought these together in an overarching integrated impact assessment summary report. We've gathered and reflected on a lot of spatial evidence and mapping through the development of a digital mapping tool, and we've made this work available online. There's been an extensive work stream on housing to help us assemble minimum all-tenure housing land requirements in accordance with the 2019 Act. This has combined national analysis with local input from local planning authorities. And indicative regional spatial strategies, which I previously mentioned, have helped to inform the strategy as a whole. Finally, it's important to note that this is a cross-cutting document, and so there's been extensive input from across government to ensure alignment with wider policies and programmes. This slide is a reminder of the process we'll be going through in the coming months. The Scottish Parliament will be considering the draft NPF4 for a period of up to 120 days, and alongside that we'll be publicly consulting. We will also be bringing back a revised draft for Parliament to approve, ideally by summer recess 2022. We really want to hear your views on the draft, and we look forward to a lively debate on Scotland 2045. For more information, please visit transformingplanning.scot. Thank you.